wish I could
Good evening and welcome along to the forum on a sad Monday night after a horrific draw at the weekend. Tragic Chicago Bears loss last night, sack Matt Nagy, and Liverpool top of the league. So that's it. That's been the forum. I've been your host, Phil Casey. Good night, God bless. We'll see you next week. Got much to talk about. Of course, it has been. Yes, good evening. Let's roll on. I see all the regulars. Some of the regulars are in. Dave Lennon's in. Give you a big wave. Save you doing that. And Go Bears and Bear down all that shit. And then Medna Toker's in. I don't think he leaves. I think he lives in our comment box, which is fun. Tonight below me, I've got Shane Davo. I've got Pete wearing his 1988 Euro 88 Holland jersey, and then of course to my left, your right, everyone's right, left, it is of course Andrew Young wearing his Never Buy Duns t-shirt. So that's it. Where are we? So tonight we're gonna have a chat. The Fatback Four cover off the match of a Sunday where there's a 3-3 draw with Brentford, where Liverpool managed to give up the lead twice, but did get the lead back after not being in the lead once. So the swings and roundabouts of it says that in reality, Klopp should have stuck an extra defender on with about 10 minutes to go and gone straight at the back to just cut out the wing side. But we don't need to go too much to that. We're going to be doing 4 topics tonight, looking at various different things. The first topic, I don't know where I'm going to go first, but we're going to talk about Jinxed jerseys because of that yellow thing, abomination that the lads are wearing at the weekend. We're going to look at bottom reds and their inability to understand tactics. Don't know what Pete's on about, but you usually get to find out about this. Shane's going to talk about agents in the game and the impact of agents and agent fees and all that type of stuff that's going on. I'm going to finish off with a celebration of Liverpool's greatest footballer of all time in history, which is, of course, the Egyptian king, Mo Salah. There has never been a greater footballer to play for Liverpool Football Club, and you can use all these other names from history, but nobody even comes close to him. And we're going to celebrate that. We're probably going to celebrate that more so as much as we win, because to be honest with you, it's the best thing to talk about. It's just how brilliant Mo Salah is, and hopefully he's getting a massive contract that makes him more paid than Messi and Ronaldo put together. That's what I say. I hope FSG give him €1 billion a week, and we can't buy another player for 10 years. That's what I hope, right? That's because that'd be very crack. Right, where we kick off. We go first. Pete, I don't understand this topic, so you take us away first with that tonight.
No. Listen, to be honest with you have the normal meltdown. I mean, where that supposed started, we go all the way back to Andy. I mean, a long time ago, talking about, relax about transfer activity, relax about not buying the Mbappes and the big name players, and relax about FSG. I mean, we had I think Sunday or Saturday morning there was a bit of a meltdown regarding the fact that Jones might start. Let's not even go through that. I mean, for me, he was probably certainly our most energetic and most responsible midfielder against Brentford, and things we completely lost control of the game when he went off. And that's just the beginning. I mean, when you consider the meltdown that the Chris and the bottom reds had at the fact that he was going to play, I thought he was, goal aside, I thought he was absolutely outstanding, arguably one of the better players on the park. Then you look at, I mean, I don't even want to focus on, how Liverpool did, because there's too much made of, well, Liverpool poor, do Liverpool need this, do Liverpool need that? For me, I thought, sometimes the bottom reds don't see what's going on in opposition's camp. They pick up their FIFA joysticks or their newspapers or whatever, their magazines or their Garth Crooks, columns, and they think that the Brentfords of this world should go down with 10 points in the bank. No, not so. Thomas Frank, we won't discuss about Brentford's mully ball being very similar to Leipzig, having a very responsible and stable model and having a very, very good tactician. But what I will say is, they've looked at us extensively. They've looked at how powerful we are through the middle. Obviously, Firmino was a huge miss, but they looked at how powerful we are, and they decided that we're just going to try and cut us off at what we do best. So I thought, if I'm honest, Kanyas, who didn't set the world on fire when he was playing for Liverpool, but he looks a proper player now. So he did a fantastic job on Robertson. Robertson was 8 times out of 10 his second touch he was in the tackle, to be honest. And it wasn't that he was just so poor. I just thought Canis got really across to him very, very well. I thought that Henry did a fantastic job. Similarly on Trent, again, same reasons, nullified the threat. At times when we had the ball, their 3-5-2 looked like a rigid 4-4-2. It looked like we were gasping for breath at stages, to be honest. I thought Fabinho was pressured by Onyeka very, very well in the middle of the park. Didn't really look comfortable, looked class, but didn't look as comfortable as he normally did. And their 2 boys up front did a fantastic job. Again, a lot of people miss the fact that Virgil, arguably, when we're not playing great, is sometimes our playmaker. And I just thought the 2 lads pressed Virgil so high up the park and Matip so high up the park that they looked uncomfortable in stages, to be honest with you. So for me, you're looking at the gnashing of teeth all the way across the preparation for the game at Young Jones, who by the way, I thought Klopp was going to change his mind when the goal went in and keep him on the park. I thought that changes things. You can always say that without Firmino, there's just that link between midfield and the attack is completely missing. So we don't dominate games as well when he's not there. And obviously we didn't have anybody to break the lines, someone like a Keita, and we didn't have anybody to pick a great pass consistently when you don't have Thiago. But for me, I really didn't enjoy. I never enjoy Liverpool dropping points, but I really enjoyed Frank, and I think Klopp enjoyed Thomas Frank, if I'm being honest with you, and because he tends to enjoy those real tactical duels. It wasn't a Burnley 2 points. It was a genuine tactical battle. And I think a lot of bottom reds out there who'll be moaning about, we should sign Bissouma, who knows, we should sign this, we should. Sometimes they need to give less credit to the fact that what Liverpool are missing and more credit to the fact that, teams can be sometimes very well prepared and still play the football against us. It's not 2 points that I wanted to drop, but to be honest with you, I actually enjoyed it. And the great thing about Liverpool and Klopp and Linders in the background, they will have learned. They will have learned again from Saturday. And, lightning won't strike twice. It seldom does with Liverpool, but when it strikes well. But I just wish these bottom reds would just have a look at the game. Have a look at the game. Instead of thinking, he's rated 89 on FIFA, why isn't he able to take on a rated 72 centre half? No, this is not football. Football is about cohesion. It's about a plan. It's about making a plan for what you're coming up against. I wish these bottom reds would just sit down and watch the game instead of moaning about who we haven't signed and who happens to be injured at the time. And to be honest, it sticks out a mile. Andy, I have to give Andy his credit, because even I was kind of like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that months ago? I can't remember the topic, but when we spoke, I think myself, yourself, Andy, and Gav on one of the shows, and I was like, it's either a plan or it isn't. And sometimes you're going to get nights like this,
Fair. I think it's bollocks. Most of what you just said there. The bottom reds are arseholes. I think the term bottom reds is shite. I think they're just arseholes. I think the people who spend their time on Twitter moaning, don't realise that spending your time on Twitter moaning doesn't really deliver anything to anyone, doesn't change anything, doesn't make the dial change. All you're doing is you're shouting into a large echo chamber. You may as well go and stand on the top of the mountain and just roar what you think, what you're thinking of typing. You're actually better off going to the top of the mountain and roaring what you want to type into your machine out, because that's the impact it's having. You might think when you get the nice likes and retweets and people interact with it.
So you don't think, Phil, we're on the subject of bollocks, you don't think that Brentford had a plan, came with it, executed well, and were probably unlucky not to win, and there was nothing glaring? You don't think that Brentford were very good?
No, I think if we play that match,
Interesting.
I think if we play that match 20 times, we win it 18 times. We had so many chances to win that game. We should win it at the end. The keeper had an absolute series of worldies throughout the game.
In fairness, he was excellent.
Good goalkeeper. He started the league season very well. Looks a good keeper.
I mean, the save for Jota was unbelievable. The follow up. It was Dudek-esque, when the Champions League, practically last kick of the game. You know what I mean? Just he was there, got up.
no matter what team has won a league, no matter what team, with the exception of the year we won the league, the year before last, where we didn't drop any points up to after Christmas time. But look, this is what happens. All teams have it. The trick here is not to lose the game. Last year we got thumped by Aston Villa in more or less the same game. If you remember the first half of that Villa game, it was swashbuckling, it was end-to-end stuff, and every time they hit the ball, it seemed to hit the back of the net. We'd scored 2 goals. There was nothing different in this. The only bit that I thought was interesting was that they overloaded Trent on the backside. I thought I'll take on board the Robertson point, but I think the only bit, and sometimes Klopp is guilty of this. I don't know whether it's because he was down bodies in the midfield, but I thought that the lack of substitutions was the one thing that really killed us in the end, because we could make one sub, and I thought the game was crying out, particularly when it went to 3-2, that maybe throwing another centre back on to prevent that quick switch that they're trying to get two bodies across and Trent, trying to expose them with a crossfield ball. That was the only question mark I had.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, considering you look at where the goals came from. They're looking to get balls into the box, second balls. They look at the balls. We didn't defend well, but second balls dropped from and stuff like that. But generally, in the past, I found when he's gone and put that third centre back off, it doesn't really help us at times, or it certainly hasn't in games in the past. It's kind of gone against us a little bit. We don't play it well, but I thought it would have helped the other night, particularly. You could see that second goal, the amount of bodies Trent is trying to deal with the back stick. And if you can get a third centre back on there to give him a dig out, I thought they really, well, listen, I was at a communion looking at something, we found something on the telly. It wasn't really a viewing experience that I enjoyed. So, but it looked to be that they kind of went fairly direct and tried to get in over Matip, over the boys. And I didn't think Matip had a good game. Never looked like he won a header all day. But listen, Brentford under the lights, halfway, 4 seasons in the Premier League, Liverpool coming. Listen, you can draw that game. So listen, I'm disappointed that we didn't see it out. One thing I would disagree on what people are saying is Brentford will take points off topsides there. I'm not sure they will. I think they're very open. I think we had chances there to kind of put the game to bed, and we didn't. And I think they're very open. I think the topsides will go there and win.
Just to echo that point, Shane. I think if when we come to the end of the season, if we don't win the league, there'll be 2 points we look at that we drop, because I think they're going to be murdered. I think they're going to be murdered by most teams that go there. I think they're going to concede a load of goals to the likes of United and City and all the teams that are decent defensively wise, and I can't see them staying up, to be totally honest with you. Like, I see all this just because they took points off us. Now they're going to stay up, and they're the second coming of the greatest.
Well, in fairness, they're not languishing. This is not a team that's languishing at the bottom of the league, lads. This is a team that turned Arsenal over convincingly in their opening fixture. This is not.
Yeah, Pete.
The mighty Arsenal have had a couple of great results.
We can make a case for anyone, to be honest with you. But these are all Premier League sides.
Oh no, I think that they're on a crest of a wave. I think the danger always comes for the newly promoted sides after Christmas.
You don't want to be playing them. That was a bad time to play them. Let's face it. It's the time as the season goes on, that sort of energy will taper off, as it always does. It's how long they can keep going, really. I mean, look,
I think it's a great story. I think the bit that you got right is that it is a fantastic example of the Moneyball model working, because they went after that. And they're a mini Liverpool in that respect. So they've openly said it. I
think Billy Bean has money invested in Brentford,
and that's why. And they went to look at it from using an analytical model to try and get up, and they've achieved getting into Premiership. Fair play to them. But it's just for me. That's a fast bike in Barcelona. Wow. But I think, honestly, sorry, Andy, I'm just going to say, my only query is, you've got Canate, you brought him in as a big lump of a fella who could deal with aerial threats, and we've seen him being able to do it. And that was he's sitting there on the bench for the last 15 minutes, lump him in there. And I think that if they're putting the pump balls across, it's going to help out Trent. And what do we lose? We could take Mane off. Maybe we could, you keep your midfield together if you wanted, and just get them to sit a little deeper and play in the counter. We have the best team in the world to play in the counter, and to me, it's just like that is normally meeting and drink to us, that type of position.
Yeah, listen, in fairness, we miss a little bit of Guile. Maybe Frank is, is inspired by it in the middle of the park. That transition.
I fancy Thomas Frank, to be totally honest with you, at this stage.
I think he's a good manager.
I bet you thought the same about Ralph Hassan, David Hassan.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, look, fair play to him. The thing I like about him is the fact that people seem to stick by him regardless of what happens, which probably says more about him. I mean, there's not many managers will suffer a 9-0 loss and still stay in a job and turn it around. So
two of them,
yeah, this is what I'm saying to you. Sometimes we write people off, and we live in a world of extremes where everybody wants to say you're either extremely good or you're extremely shit. Maybe look at the bit in the middle before you start writing everything off. I mean, what has this guy done between his 2 9-0 defeats to still be in the job?
Just to wrap it up, just because I want to give it a word because you mentioned him last week, but Curtis Jones had a great game, and it seemed to really annoy an awful lot of people that he had a great game, and his goal deserved to win the game. To be totally honest with you, I know it takes a little nick, but it deserves to win it. Yeah,
he's not a shiny new thing.
Since when are you sitting there outside the pitch in still? Will you let Andy talk this?
sorry, fella.
16 minutes in, I haven't had a word.
It's a force.
Now, come here. To be fair, look, Curtis Jones was taking a bit of stick before the game. I don't know whether any of these people, like Pete's calling them bottom reds, I don't know whether these people should count. There was all sorts of comments and abuse coming in before the game about was starting, and there's some account there that does compilations and all full on FIFA account. And look, Curtis had a great game. He was excellent. I'm excited about Curtis this season. I think if he gets games, he's gonna be a shining light for us. He was good to get the goal. Did deserve to win the game. A lot of over analysis as usual. Hot takes and over analysis after a Liverpool result. It's a draw. It's a tough place to go at the very beginning of the season. Yeah, Tom Boland says there that Thomas Frank got his tactics right. Thomas Frank was brave, and it came off. But on another day, Phil, as you say, if you played them 20 times, Liverpool missed 2 Gilday's chances. There was Salah's chance that went under the keeper. It was cleared off the line. And there was Salah's chance where he just had to pass the goalkeeper. There was another one, Jota, where the keeper made a worldie. There's another day that would have been 6, whatever, 2 or 3. All their goals came from sloppy defending. You know what I mean? You talk about Thomas Frank masterclass and all. He was just brave, and what he did enabled them to stay in the game. And if they got a chance, they took it. And look, that happens in football. It's not going to be the last time it happens this season. It'll happen in other games. That's the idea. If you can stay in the game, and if Liverpool don't take all their chances, then you're going to get picked off. The learning lesson there for it is just Salah just pass the ball past the goalkeeper, make it 4-2. Put an end to the game. But that's football. Look, as usual, hot takes and over analysis. Liverpool will be fine. They're still top of the league, and they won't have that sort of concentration lapse against City. Or at least I hope they won't. It was just a one-off game, and there's no need for all this over analysis and like all of a sudden Mane is not capable anymore, or Robertson, because he hasn't started the season so well. We're 6 games in. Come on.
Do you know? There's an interesting fact that after 6 games, the eventual champion is located somewhere in place 1 to 4 on the table. And that's always been the case since the Premiership in 1992. So whatever teams are there in the top 4, which strange enough happened to be Liverpool, City, Man United and Chelsea, the champion is coming out with those 4. That's a seriously hot take. I bet you that's a bit of insight that you weren't expecting. So
yeah. Kind of thought they would have been. Our Chris Brack says is the top red, bottom red score still 7-1. Yeah, it's 7-1, and that's the top red, bottom red happiness index that I'll be covering for the rest of the season.
I love an index.
Yeah, it's the happiness index. So I didn't give the bottom reds a point this week. Although they're very happy, I didn't give them a point because Curtis Jones scored. So that kind of took a point off them. But so the score remains 7-1.
There we go. 7-1.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter have been saying, like, are you not too old to to be still going on like this? And look, the simple
The
answer
is yes.
Their answer
Yeah.
is simple answer is yeah, I am, but I don't really give a fuck, and it just gives me a lot of satisfaction at the end of the season, because when we win titles or Champions League or we're enjoying ourselves, you know what I mean? I see that as a reward for all the support, the unconditional support, and the suffering that we've done over the years with shit football under Hodgson, and going back forward and under Souness. So when we're playing good, and we're going through a golden era, and you see people that just don't seem to grasp the fact that this is a kind of a golden era. I mean, unfortunately, you've got City on knocking around, which is very hard to compete with. But this Liverpool team is still phenomenal, and I don't know how you can support the team in such a way that you're constantly looking at negatives. I mean, as Pete says there, you have to give credit to the opposition, and they were there waiting if Liverpool didn't take their chances. I mean, we didn't lose the game because Robertson had a poor start to the season. Our Mane doesn't seem to be himself, or you don't like Curtis Jones. I mean, we had chances to win the game. We didn't take them. And then sometimes in football, you get punished, especially when you're that sloppy. You're talking about balls that are bouncing all over the place and hitting crossbars. The other player just getting there first. Like, these are the margins of football. We still drew the game. We're still top of the league. Seriously, like, give it up.
Can I just encourage everyone here to bin off in terms of top reds and bottom reds. Basically, you're all a bunch of weirdos. Go and stand on a mountain and just shout, right? And let your echo come back and hit you about 50 times, because that's all it is. It's a fucking vast echo chamber. People going, nah.
I think us top reds now, there's no such thing as top reds. But look, the term is being invented by whatever. It's their supporters who I'm
going up to the roof of the apartments here. I'm going to just stand there and just shout out ideas onto the street all night long instead. I'm going to get drunk and just do it, and that'd be more fun. See if anybody should be gas, right? Imagine if you just stood up on a roof and just started shouting things, random things that are affecting you during the day, and then people started shouting stuff back to you from other buildings. That'd be great. It'd be like when the first lockdown happened. It'd be like when the first lockdown happened, and people used to have sing-songs out their windows, and people respond back, and life was great where people were interacting with each other again, even though they couldn't leave their houses. But they're having more interaction with real humans than they ever had before. So, I won't. No, David Leonard, I won't wake up the baby because I'll be up on the roof screaming out, right? So the baby, they'll just think it's ambient sound, white noise, because that's all social media is. But I want to move along. In the wheel of what the topic is going to be next, and I'm going to go with Shano. Shano, you want to talk on the back end of the top red, bottom reds conversation. You want to talk about these leeches that live in the world of football, agents, and the impact of agents on the footballers. So rocking and rolling with it.
Well, I was just kind of looking at the top end of it and kind of the bottom end of it as regards. Listen, there's been a lot of talk of this Haaland auction that's going to happen now next year with me and Raiola. He's got 73 clients in European football, which is mental, with Pogba and Zlatan and whatnot. But I was reading an article there from Bild earlier, and seemingly the money that the numbers that are being spouted around is he's looking for 825k a week for Haaland, and he wants 34 million himself. And the father gets a big payout as well. Right, so just thinking of agents and bringing it back, like, we're obviously top reds, bottom reds, whatever. We're not in the picture for Haaland. That isn't going to be happening. He's going to PSG or he's going somewhere else. But I'm just thinking about agents and the times that, like, they do good and bad in the game. Like, there's probably cases of both. Like, we've had the young players at Liverpool. Your man Jerome Sinclair, 80 Ward was his agent, same agent as Sterling. Got him out of Liverpool. I think he's playing for CS. He's playing in Sofia now in Bulgaria. He doubled his price, one transfer deadline, left him stranded at a train station with Sheffield United. They pulled out with the Bobby Duncan stuff. Gerrard's cousin, that Twitter spat, your man Soif Ruby, his agent had with Carragher. He went to Fiorentina. He's now in Derby County reserves and canking in the team. So I went back reading an article. I was like Andy today. Look at me notes, and I was like Andy. Like a lot of Liverpool fans to bring up agent fees, right? And some of them would say we pay too much and stuff like that. And that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion on that. But in the 12 months from last March, Liverpool spent 22 million in agent fees. But United, City, Chelsea all spent more. So that suggests to me that that's kind of the price of doing business. You can't give out about paying out agent fees and then complain that we're not getting next player and we're not getting Y player and we're not strengthening the squad. Like that would suggest to me it's kind of the price of business. If you want these players, you have to get into bed with these fellas. And like I listened to Damien Delaney before speaking about, you will get phone calls. Like he says, clubs use agents. You will get he says, when I played, I got phone calls off agents saying that weren't his agent, saying, listen, I can get you to move here and get you moved there. And he'd be like, well, what the fuck are you doing ringing me? You're not my agent. Whereas the clubs involved that are trying to get rid of him or whatever like that have like these agents get told, you'll get paid 500 grand for every one of them you can ship out. So I was just interested to see what you think. Do you think it's a necessary evil in the game? Do you think they do some good work? Do you think it's all bad? What do you think?
I think they're doing it wrong.
Who?
Agents. So
right.
You talk about a Haaland auction, you know what I mean? They'll get 150 million for him or something along them lines, right? If they were to auction him. But you ever see the way people like put PlayStations up and everybody bids for them, but it's only like a tenner a head? Or you go to a shopping centre and there's a BMW sitting in the middle of the shopping centre and everyone pays £20 or whatever. You make more money that way than you do in an auction. And players these days like Haaland or Mbappe or Neymar, they don't really give a shit where they go. They just go where the money is. So what they should do is every club, if I was the agent, I would say every club, whatever, 500,000 each, and you'd all have a chance to have Haaland and
raffle him.
And raffle him off. You'll make about 500 million that way, and you'll have change for his wages and everything else. So agents are doing it wrong. Now, you can take that idea if you just want. No problem.
I think you would have to be at a certain level though to actually have the buy-in. I mean, for example, if Everton came in, Holland is just never going to go there, no matter what. So it's got to be Monaco standards, as in not the club, but people that would arrive to Monaco with the real money and with something to offer. It's not the Paddy Power crowd. You're talking about Monte Carlo crowd. So yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. Would make it more like a draft. Phil is the expert on the draft. Maybe something more like the draft, Phil.
I have a great idea. I'm going to come back to it in a minute, but I wanted to let you all talk before I came into my opinion on agents. But we have the Adrenaline blog here, who is actually Mohamed Salah's agent in disguise, using the currency of the Abu Dhabi to 36.99 Abu Dhabi, which equates to about 73 pence in English.
No,
money.
It doesn't actually.
What is it?
It's €8.61.
€8.61 grand. Well, it is only about it could be 73 pence in sterling, or it could be £730 in sterling. Who knows? Their country's fucked. Anyway, the Adrenaline blog says all top players miss. You have to blame the sloppy defence. Salah is one of the greatest to play for Liverpool. Currently, is the best in Europe. So underrated by many LFC fans. Give him what he deserves. Would only they don't have any trucks to bring all the money to him, so you'll have to wait till he goes on holidays to get some money because there's no money left. That's a fair play, but we'll be talking about Salah in a little bit, so stick along with this. Where are we now? Oh yeah, so my idea is that we need to adopt the MART system, right? The MART system that they have in Ireland, where to get the players in the summertime, right? Instead of all this underhanded stuff, it'd be great, it'd be a frenzy on television. It's a mart. So they bring the lads in trucks and they back them up. And then Raiola, like the farmer in the mart, gets it to stick out and brings Haaland in, and he stands in the middle. And you have all the lads who own the club standing around. And the fellas there going, hey, we're going to start with 75 minutes. And they start bidding on them. You see the lads putting the hands up. The fans would have the crack. Imagine the more that would be leading up to the football mart every year. We don't need to have a long, prolonged bunt. We can have a week leading up to the mart where there's talk about all the players that are being brought in to be sold by the agents. And then we can have the mart. The mart can go on for 4 hours maybe. It'll be all over Europe. You have all the big clubs that are there buying the players. and you can have lads doing side deals and winks and nods, and then there could be a few lads standing out the back that they have as emergency march players. They don't know if they're going to sell, but depending on what the prices look those days, we might
is this not just like the NFL draft you're describing there?
No, see, the draft, you have to pick someone, right, Shane? But with the mart, you're putting money, like it is an auction. So there's a real life auction. The lads go.
There's no point. You won't make as much money. I'm telling you now.
Look at the price of beef at the moment. I'm saying lash it all in, throw it in. We have the trucks. You know the big Liverpool bus. You can get a Rigi on the bus because all the Reds wanted him sold. Right? So you can get the Rigi on the bus. We back the bus up. It opens the boot. They prod him with the electrical things. He comes in. He stands in there, and then we sell him off to somebody buys him. And whatever's the price raised, that's what it goes. We don't need to worry about it. Moneyball, perfect. Brentford will have the biggest truck in the Premiership to bring the players in and out. They'll have one to take the players out on one side and one to bring the players in the other side. So that's what I say. Agents and the marts, and then we could set the agent fees at a state at what it is, right? But I think agents get bad rep, Shane. To be totally honest with you, right? Their job is to maximize the value of the player, maximize the amount of money the player gets, and in turn maximize the amount of money that they get. I think one of the biggest issues that we have is that we have these super agents, the Raiolas, the George Mendez's. Mendes owns Wolves or runs Wolves or whatever he is with Wolves in terms of what's there. You have what the other guy, Safe Rubio. You talked about it.
Penny Zahavi was
Penny Zahavi was one of the super agents that was floating around. So like you look at it, they're seen as like they are seen as parasites. They are seen as leeches by fans, but from a player's point of view, it's their profession. They're there to make as much money in a relatively short career that can be ended by serious injury at any point. Their peak probably runs from 24 to 31 at most, right? And they generally have one contract in that window to maximize as much money as they possibly can get out of it. So, yeah, if I'm Raiola, I'm driving the price of Haaland up. I'm talking to as many people as I possibly can. And people talk about, well, we won't ever do business with Raiola again, and we won't do this. Of course we will. Football's a business. People see this with emotion. People see this as fans, and they see it with emotion. Teams, this is a business. They're business transactions. They mightn't like the guy, they mightn't like the way he operates, but if a club wants to buy that player that's there, they will go after it. And I'm telling you, no agent would say, I'm never going to do business with that club again. They mightn't want to favour it. If they have an option of the same price or in around the same price, they might go with a different club. But there's no way they won't do it. It's a business. And like the one thing...
You've also... listen, there's numerous occasions of clubs treating players like shit and treating them really, really poorly and like pieces of meat and throwing them to their youth team to train and reserves. And I'm not talking about troublemakers either. I'm talking about people that they want to get off a wage bill or they want to do this and that. So I think that's where agents come into their own as looking after their player and whatnot. And probably if clubs weren't as bad as weren't as what's the word weren't as bad as treating the players so poorly, agents that you wouldn't need as many of them or what the kind of way. So I think I think it goes both ways. Like clubs use them and players use them. I just think it's a price of their own business. So just like I said earlier, like we want to be competing with United and City and Chelsea. Like for the most part, obviously, there's some targets that are out of reach. But if we want to be competing with them, but people don't want us to pay agent fees, well, listen, that's just not going to happen, man. We're not going to be able to sign X player or Y player unless we are paying these agent fees. So look, it's pick your poison, isn't it? Don't get the player or pay the agent fee, one or the other.
And that's exactly what it is. And ultimately, there's a reason why these super agents keep getting the best players, because they get the best player, get those players the best deals. Like this isn't, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? There's a reason why there's a George Mendes exists. There's a reason why Raiola exists. They spot the talent. They put money into that talent as well in terms of, there's a whole back end operation that goes with these players. That some of it's managed by the club. The other part is all the extra, the entourage that they bring in, right? So, it's there. I think Mr. Sinclair says next season agent fees are capped. Means nothing.
No. And sure, just on that point, in the article I was reading, it said Raiola will take a salary for this 34 million, as in, so if say the agent fees are capped, he has said, right, you put me on the payroll then and pay me my 34 million through like a monthly installment, biannually installment, whatever it is. So there's always ways around it.
Absolutely.
They're only getting capped because the leagues want more money. You know what I mean? It's just they don't like the idea that there's money there, but it's not coming into the league or it's not coming into UEFA. Like
there's billions out there. We know there's billions of money. There's billions involved in football at this stage, right? Everybody wants a bit of the pie. Everybody wants it. The best players want it. The agents want it. Nobody wants to hand over their piece of the pie. Nobody wants to let the money filter right the way through to the grassroots levels. They all want it, and they all want to stack in the top end. And now, like, we're talking about all the issues that were there, and that UEFA was saving football. We knew it was all a con. The Premier League wanted UEFA and are back into things against those teams. Yet the Premier League now are talking about that they're going to have to take games abroad to broaden the appeal of the fan base around the world. Yet they're the very ones who've been putting out stats that it's the most watched league in the world as it is. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's about maximizing the amount of money that they can generate. This is just that model, and they didn't have control. The issue was they didn't have control over it. The issue
I think it was announced tonight as well that the last 3 remaining clubs aren't getting disciplinary action taken against them: Madrid, Barca, and Juve. I think. Listen, I just had a quick read of it there. It was that Italian fella Tancredi had something up about it. That there, I think that I'm right in saying that they're not getting disciplined. Maybe a small fine or something like that. So, so there you go.
Because the brands are too big. UEFA aren't going to shoot themselves in the foot. Let's not be stupid about this. Whatever generates, and the other part is that the PSG who control UEFA through Khalifa, right? Khalifa controls UEFA now at this stage. He controls FFP. He's sitting on the disciplinary board. He sits on the advisory board. The whole lot. So basically, PSG is running European football through UEFA at this stage. He's not going to want to discipline those clubs. And why doesn't he want to discipline those? Because he wants them there to maximise the attractiveness of what they're selling in TV rights. I think the Champions League, this revised cockshot of a competition is about to start in 2 years' time. And like, he's going to want those teams in there because otherwise it won't be happening. So it's money, and I know it's people don't like the idea of agents because agents are an easy target for the press, for the leagues, for the clubs to put out there, and that's basically what it is. It's an easy. They're
not even getting fined. They're just withdrawing any sanction UEFA from the 3 remaining Super League clubs. So
we got fined. We took it.
Yeah, we did take a fine, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Oh yeah, because people were giving out saying
John Henry paid it.
That should come out of the cup, or the club. All this agent stuff, the demonising of agents, it's the exact same as everybody else trying to paint themselves as a good guy when it came to the Super League. UEFA pretending that they're good guys, Sky, everyone. Everybody just wants their money. You know what I mean? And they'll do anything to try and get more money. Agents, it never really bothers me. Agents only bother me when they start mouthing off about their clients at Liverpool, or maybe they're trying to pull them away from Liverpool. Like we had it with Coutinho, we had it with Sterling, and we've had it several times over the years. Like you hear, I don't know whether it's even true, but Naby's agent making comments. I mean, they're above their station there when they start that carry on, and that's the only time they bother me. But look, these fellas are earning a living, making millions off the back of players who are making millions from football. That's making millions, and it's all of us that's making that go around. You know what I mean? Like, it's not till we actually take action as fans instead of just talking shite on Twitter and giving out and having fake protests. I mean, you have to just end up stopping playing your Sky, stop buying the merchandise, stop this, stop everything, and then the money goes over. But look, we'll carry on and we'll keep paying all the money that we do, and the agents all make their money. So it's all just pretend.
Yeah, I hear United having protests again because they lost the match or something.
Yeah.
Are they going to protest every time we lose a game?
Break glass, take out green and white or green and gold scarf and go again. And
put it over the Ronaldo jersey.
Just in time for the Liverpool match. Just in time for the Liverpool match.
It's all just pretend.
Actually, I didn't get a chance. In case there's any United fans watching for some bizarre reason, I want to thank you for making complete arseholes of yourselves and invading the pitch last year, because we were shit at that stage. And had you not invaded the pitch that day and let the game go ahead, there's a good chance you probably would have won, right?
We wouldn't be in the Champions League.
And we wouldn't be in the Champions League. So only for your actions of complete and utter stupidity, right, and dickheadery, we wouldn't have made the Champions League. So big thanks to you, lads. Right, so fair play. Keep it going.
In fairness, though, lads, just to, it's fashionable and it's nice to, everyone wants to slag off agents, but there are some really good agents at the bottom end of the game. For example, when a couple of lads that would slip into non-league, for example, where there's absolutely no money in Ireland, I've heard a couple of, well, they're not stories, but people that I know who have been lifted out of, say, playing for, without being disrespectful, in the Leinster scene, literally in the Leinster senior, a couple of them got moves to, either League Two or Welsh Premier, and are making almost $1,000 a week and playing in Europe. So there's a lot to be said for people. These lads, agents will put a video compilation together, will put a CV together, because some lads don't even know how to put their own CV together. Will call the club, knowing where, and they know who has budgets and who doesn't. And some of these lads, their family, they'd either be working in a factory if they're lucky, or they wouldn't be working at all. And I know a few of them. And in fairness, that's where agents can be fantastic, because clubs don't want to deal with players. They just don't want to. And the players, for the most part, don't want to deal with clubs, because negotiation is the best way to burn bridges with an organization, with a business. You can seldom do business twice with any organization. So agents are the buffer zone against the spoiling of relationships. It's important to highlight that as well, to be fair.
And I actually know a couple of agents as well, so they're pretty nice guys. So I'm just on the other side of the fence, really. I see through. I've seen through an awful lot of the shit that's been going on, and especially from doing this over the last few years. When you actually stand back from all this and remove your emotion from an awful lot of the argument and look into what's there, it does give you a changed perspective, particularly some of the really good writing that's on the game, and it is well worth and have a look at it. Right, I want to move along as we were mentioning green and gold. I want to get into my topic, jinxed jerseys. Right, I had a look at that yellow thing at the weekend, and I've like to talk about the whole thing about jerseys and the type of stuff that Nike comes out. I wasn't offended by this yellow kit. I was looking at it going, possibly could have done a bit better. Looks a bit mad. I do like a mad kit, right? Probably would have liked to have made that fluorescent yellow. But then you look at the result, and there's a thing in my head, there's always jerseys that you think of when that just never seem to work for us, right? You know those jerseys that, I think of an awful lot of the Hodgson era jerseys come to mind, right? Mm-hmm. But those Adidas jerseys just around that time when I can see Poulsen playing in it, that white one that should have been a fantastic jersey for us. Adidas did everything right. It was a gorgeous white jersey with the red pinstripe show. They nearly got the designs bang on, right? But every time I look at it, all I keep thinking of is Poulsen, Konchesky, all those lads in it, right? Dave Lennon makes a great one there. Yeah, that was
a great kit. I love that kit.
The green and white. I think of the green and white square kit, and straight away I think of the FA Cup.
Yeah, I know.
But going to the yellow jerseys are very special, because the problem with the yellow jersey there's a recency bias here. So it was only when I did a bit of research into this, right? I was thinking, yellow jerseys were banjaxed. Why are we going with a yellow kit? We're always jinxed in it. And then I look back, we wore yellow kits more or less from 1979 right the way up to 1986. Before the grey kit appears, the yellow kit was our alternate or our away kit, right? So you can't complain with those ones. And it's the exact same yellow as the lads are wearing this year with Nike, right? So there's the Hitachi one, there's Crown Paints, there's Candy, there's all these yellow kits. Fantastic. We wear a lovely yellow one in the mid-90s. Do you remember, I always think of Jamie Redknapp or Robbie Fowler. It was the Adidas one that had the sort of one button. It was like a mustardy yellow colour, right? And it
had a lot of black going through it.
A lot of black, and had the crests running through it, right? That was a lovely kit as well. I'll give you that one. We had a yellow one with Reebok that was in the 2000 and 2001 season.
Jason McAteer.
Very, very, very bright.
The Michael, no, I'm thinking, there was the very bright one, but I'm also thinking the Michael Owen final, lads. It's one that jumps out at you.
Well, it's kind of gold, though. It's not yellow. It
was that mustardy sort of yellow, right? And then we have another yellow kit. in Rafa's time. Okay. That wasn't used that often. I think it was a 4 kit. But then what kills the yellow kit, and I saw it today, and I've just realised it's the recency bias here. Paul Lambert, Balotelli, and Benny Akvilarkanovic, the all up front playing against Aston Villa or somebody in that 14-15 season. And this is what killed me. That's straight away. That's the recency bias of what was going on. 14-15, New Balance. It was like a jersey that had a moustache across the top of it. Do you remember they had this red sort of band that was like a moustache? They were trying to say that.
Oh yeah.
But influence was that yellow Scousers jersey that Reebok brought out in the Rafa time, and yeah, just Ricky Lambert. I just keep seeing yellow jersey, Ricky Lambert, and then we go out and draw with Brentford. So, am I wrong here? Can you think of any better Jinxed jerseys we have? And I'm just wrong, or is there Jinxed jerseys? I just want to point out
there's a lucky jersey, that orange jersey. I don't think we.
Yeah, I love that.
We failed to win by at least 2 goals in that match.
And that was actually, you mentioned fluorescent, Phil. That was nearly fluorescent orange. That jersey it was a great. I loved that. Yeah,
I'm with you, Shane. I think that orange jersey set the tone for what we should wear all the time. I think when they went orange, we should actually make orange our away, that fluorescent Dutch orange, like what Pete's wearing there all the time. That should be our go-to towards strip. Andy, you're a kit man. You've got all the kits up in your jacks there. And
I don't, but that orange kit was amazing, and there was a purple kit as well, recently enough. But you're right, a result can often ruin a jersey. I remember just in the first 20 minutes that game was the first time they were, and Brentford were having a little bit of joy, and I was thinking to myself, players don't look comfortable with this kit. This kit is playing on their mind. And being honest, it seemed to be bothering me more than that. And when the camera zoomed in, and it's all these squares, it looks like a uniform or something like from that burger place. And it's not the best. I don't know. Like, obviously, big companies like Nike and New Balance and Adidas, like, they bring out absolute stinkers, but what are they doing it on purpose? I mean, they must know what they're at. Like, I mean, they could easily have just had that yellow jersey with a red V-neck or something, and you have a quality kit that, in my mind, they're going to sell loads more.
Yeah.
But they just seem to do this. Is it just because it attracts so much negative publicity, and any publicity is good publicity? I don't know. It's so strange. Like, you know, Nike had that, did a black and white one, or a kind of or was it, maybe it was New Balance, did a kind of a black and grey squared one, and then going back a few years to Warrior, they had this kind of purple, that thing that looked like
they took loads of bits, and
someone just flung a paintbrush at the bleeding canvas or something.
It's mad. It's like they just have to bring out a stinker to attract.
I think the problem is, Andy, is like, I can't don't know for definite when we were younger. The first kit I bought was like 92. Do you remember, like, the green with the three white stripes? But my point is, right, we probably kept that for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, the problem is now is that every year they have to come up with 3 designs for 3 kits. And fair enough, that the home is red, but then it seems to be they can do whatever they want except blue. Obviously, he would have been everything for an away kit. So
sure, we did a blue one, and it sold loads.
Yeah, but they're like
Chris Brack has nailed the one. That one that they stuck all the bits together for New Balance had odd socks. Do you remember there was a stripe on one sock and there was no stripe on the other sock?
But they're just running out of designs. They have to come up with another 3 now for next year.
But look, there's Barry Devaney there. All the concert kits and Twitter look class. Can we not get them guys to make them? Yeah, they do. But these big, massive corporations, they know what they're doing. They're up to something. Like, did they bring out a shit kit to sell more home kits? Is that what it is? Like, did they know that when they bring out this third kit, that it's absolutely poison, that people are just going to go and buy more home kits or something? Because that's where the damage is done by home kits.
I think the concept kits that some of the fans do launch, I'd be hoping that some of them are real. You know, I mean, I don't understand why big labels don't actually, bring in a couple of fans and say, listen, what do you think would look good on the boys? Because some of them look great,
Well, we'll go back to your point, Andy, right? So basically, the people are saying, the concept kits are fair look class. They don't. Most of them don't. Most of them are just these dickheads wanting to put it back in Adidas kits, right? Forgetting that most of the Adidas kits since after the 80s have been absolutely shite, right? So
well, on principle, we shouldn't wear Adidas after they dumped us like that. You're not big enough, lads. Fuck Adidas.
I don't really care. Secondly, right? Also, they're all templates, right? So all the kits are templates. All they do is they dye them different colors and stick different sponsors on.
Really, I didn't know that.
So we were told that we weren't going to be templates and they were going to be unique, right? The only team that actually gets unique kits in modern day football is Bayern Munich, because they're part owned by Adidas. Adidas own 12.5% of Bayern Munich, and they create bespoke kits for them on a year-to-year basis. Everyone else gets the template stuff and
regen kits
you want, and that's what it is. And you look at Nike, they're on templates now. I think this year's kits are decent. I'm just putting it out there. I actually think I like the yellow. I just wish the fluorescent dial was toned up a bit more on the yellow. Right? If you're going to go that yellow, a bit like the orange, turn the yellow up so that you don't even need. Going back to Shane's point, you don't need the floodlights to be on to see the players. You know what I mean? Like if you think about the orange kit, right? If you're playing on a pitch and you get a glimpse of a fella moving on your right, you know if it's one of your own, because he's going to be wearing this joint orange thing, right? And you can just you can see him go or whatever, right? Same with a big massive fluorescent yellow kit, bang, pinging around the place. You don't even need to wear bibs in a 5-a-side. You can just wear the fluorescent kits, be flying around, right? So I think get the yellow kits. Maybe ask Nike to turn up the dial on the fluorescent side of it. What's the other kit that we have? We have the white one.
The white one's quality.
I always like our whites. Yeah.
No, the white one is brilliant. The white one is really nice. I
can't remember what it looks like.
The new white kit with kind of black V-neck collar, green on it.
Now you say it, Andy, I do remember it, but
blackish.
It's completely forgettable. Well, it's absolutely
the cricket top is horrible.
But the yellow one, well, we'll remember the yellow one. We always remember the home jerseys. You always remember the home jersey if you win something. We'll never forget the home jersey we won the league in, and you'll never forget the home jersey that we won the Champions League in, right? So you're never going to forget those two jerseys. But you won't remember.
Yeah, I actually like the cream one. What's that? Is that a toad kit? The cream?
The cricket one.
No, that's the away one.
That's the away one.
That's cream. That's not white. That's quality, I think.
Yeah, creamy white.
Quality.
It's like
that Ecra one.
Yeah, it's like that Ecra one. Yeah, it's quality.
You'll just never remember. Just never remember. Yeah. Just vanish. And PSG seem to get the concepts a year ahead of the rest of them from Nike, and then they pushed them out. But they're doing the Air Jordan thing
on them, yeah.
And PSG is one joint big propaganda wave at this moment in time. And talking about PSG and all their multi-millions, Andy, how much are we going to be upset when Mo Salah joins PSG next summer transfer window? Because Mo Salah is arguably the greatest Liverpool footballer to ever grace the pitch for the club, bar none. But you want to talk about his 100 goals. His 100 goals in 11 games.
Yeah, look, it's not like we haven't covered Salah about 10 times on the forum already, but it's only right we mark his latest achievement. Fastest ever Liverpool player to reach 100 top flight goals. Unbelievable. One ahead of Roger Hunt and 17 quicker than Ian Rush. I mean, that's the one that blows my mind. Is Ian, how do you score 100 goals quicker than Ian Rush? Like, he played for Liverpool through all the best times, and he's a striker, and he was a poacher. And Mo Salah scored 100 top flight goals in 17 quicker games. It's an outstanding return when you consider all the greats that have went before him. You know, if you haven't got him in your minds for the greatest ever to pull on our shirt, you should. You know, we're lucky to be so gifted with players that you might consider ahead of him, but it's a really strange phenomenon when you hear him not being spoken about at the very, very top. Like, only last week, someone said he might just have replaced Neymar as top 3 in the world. Like,
Neymar does nothing.
That's delusion to me. Like, look at the level that Salah's playing at. Exactly. You know, it's the toughest league in the world. You know, and look, in my supporting life, only Gerrard, Torres, Fowler, and Suarez have really blown me away, you know, up to Salah. But look, he's just unbelievable. He's just a perfect pro. You know, and statistically, if you look at his return,
only Mo Salah, Andy.
What?
Only Mo Salah.
Yeah.
Isn't that every tweet that goes out? Only Mo Salah has more goals than X. Only Mo Salah has more.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Everything. Touches, like he's an all-rounder as well. That his ability to pick out a player as well, and unbelievable. But anyway, statistically, if you look at his return and contribution in terms of goals, assists, winners, golden boots, and of course the title and the Champions League, it really kind of puts him in that bracket of our greatest ever. You know, and like when I said that on Twitter one time, I was getting lashed. But like, why? Why can't he be considered? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He really, really deserves the recognition. Like, I'm talking Ballon d'Or levels recognition.
Absolutely.
I really hope we can do another league or Champions League for him to get that recognition.
Exactly.
He's a true great of the game, of the Premier League, of world football, not just Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre.
It's telling, Andy, though. It's you and I knock about on Twitter, and you see a lot of the top Everton accounts. Good lads like Blue Nose Bob. Blue Nose Bob is forever getting into it with stupid young Liverpool fans defending Mo Salah. I mean, these lads are good lads, but he's always. It's like fellas of a certain generation. I think Bob is in his 50s or 60s. But he's forever. How can you not love Mohamed Salah? He calls him Salad. If Liverpool didn't have Salad, he carries them and. Just the respect that from decent lads, the respect that he gets. But, there's a couple of comments flying in there. I won't get into it because I'm always on my soapbox. I'm not going to bother. But everybody knows why. To be honest with you. Mo Salah, Phil is right. Momentum-wise, if we'd have signed him a couple of years, when he was a couple of years younger, Rush is on 3-4-6. Nobody will ever catch that the way the modern game is gone. But if he can keep himself in the shape that he's in, there's no reason why his momentum can't. I mean, the guy is in, as well as being a top player, he's in top shape. He's just phenomenal. He's never injured. I think he's missed. He's not been available for 4 games or something throughout his entire Liverpool career. It's phenomenal. If there's any doubt about not throwing the money at Mohamed Salah, just give him what he wants. Give him what he deserves. He's going to give most of it to charity. Anyway, to be quite honest with you, because he's also a fantastic human being. Just pay the man what he wants.
Yeah, he's an amazing human being, and he's an absolute role model to all people. Liverpool fans are not kids growing up. You look at players like Ronaldo, and look, fair play to Ronaldo, the shape he's in, the age he is, but Mo Salah's equally like that. You know what I mean? The clean eating, the training, everything about his game, and he's so selfless as well. Like, if people talk about him being selfish, like, if you're that good, you have to take on the goal. But he's so dignified. He shows so much humility. He's amazing, and
he's spoken an awful lot, actually, which will have like bigger consequences. I've heard him speaking a lot about women's rights in the Muslim world and all, because he's got daughters. Well, he's definitely got one daughter. I don't know if he's got a second one. Yeah. But speaking about women's rights in Muslim countries and stuff like that, which can only be like that could have like him speaking in them towns could have bring huge change for that kind of stuff.
So he's not going to Paris. He's not going to PSG. He's never going to sign for Manchester City. Give him the money.
There's no.
If you follow me,
Sorry.
Football to
business, Pete. Football's a business. Money talks at the end of the days, and if they came in and offered 250 million, there's probably a 99.99% chance that it'll go, because at 250 million, they'd probably say that's the money. That's what we want. Now, will I sell him? Not hope. And look, I'm on record, and people can go back to when we did the podcast when we signed him. I was fucking jumping from the rafters, celebrating it like we'd signed the best player in the world, because I'd watched them in Serie A. It's probably one of the last couple of seasons where I watched a bit of football around Europe. I just don't have the time to do it anymore. And I watched them have changed from the player he was at Chelsea to this machine that was in Italy. And he should have, I think he scored 14 goals that season, and he should have scored 34 goals that season, right? And I was going, if Klopp can get him to increase his output by 10%, we're going to have a guy who scores 16 goals off the wing, I said, this is the type of stuff that made Giggs, that would have been the best seasons that Giggs ever had. We didn't sign that. We signed a fella who didn't just get 10% better, he got 100% better. He doubled his output, right? He scored. If I keep going, that fourth season, if he doesn't score the 40 plus goals in his fourth season, people are talking about it, and he scores that in his third season, let's say, or the season we win the league. People are talking about that for the rest of his days. The problem is he scores in his fourth season, and every season since then.
Not even if he doesn't do it at all, Phil. If he scores 25 goals in every season like he's been doing, he doesn't have to do that for.
Shane, his record, his league record is ridiculous. He's 32 in his fourth season, 22, 19, 22, and he's only got 5 this season. Right, so he needs to sort himself out there. I know we're 6 games in, but he's only got 5 goals this season. At the moment, he's on course to have another 30 goal season.
Yeah, do you know what's great? Do you know what the best thing about him though is, Phil? He's obviously had his ups and downs, even at Liverpool, and he's obviously been through them. Because when you see his agent, and he's made a lot of comments. Yeah, unlike Harry Kane, Mohamed Salah just goes out and does what Mohamed Salah does. Harry Kane is obviously having his moment right now, and he can't buy a goal. In 8 games, 7 or 8 games, he actually can't buy a goal. That's the difference between elite, professional, and just top players. I think that debate's over, to be honest.
I'm just going because I've been a massive supporter of Salah from day one. Huge fan in terms of what he brought to us and what we did. And people laughed at me on this pod. Me and Shawnee have this banter back and forward. But Shane, you've witnessed it. I was in the old bunker before I went. I said this fella is better than Messi, and I've been saying it for donkeys, right? I think for what he's done for us. I know people talk about Messi being the greatest player of all time, and there's a good conversation to have around that. And he is like Salah hasn't hit that level that Messi was a few years ago. But over the last 3 or 4 seasons, for the impact he's had for his team, it's as big as what Messi has. And you look at the drop-off Barcelona has. We're going to experience the same drop-off. If Salah was out for 6 months, we'd have the same drop-off as what Barcelona has. Yeah. So I just want to say one thing, right? And then there's one thing I want to finish off. When it comes to Salah, the guy is... Jono made a statement there, which is his biggest... It's just, I think... People look at it the wrong way. They say, well, he could have scored more. He missed an easy chance. He could have done that, right? Only he gets in those positions. Only he gets there for those chances, right? Nobody else does it. Take him out. Nobody else is there in those places to miss those chances. And the chap is a freak. He's a wing forward that scored more goals than nearly all other forwards. Ronaldo, at his peak scoring thing, is a central forward. He's not a wing-sided forward. He wasn't scoring at this level. And I think people need to readjust what they look at. It's not about the chances he missed. He's there. Okay? He's there. Not many others are. Sorry, Shane, go on.
No, I'll just finish on one thing. You mentioned football as a business and PSG. If Neymar's going to go, he's probably going to be top of PSG's list. But maybe one thing that might go in our favour, if you were asking my opinion on it, I think he wants to stay at Liverpool, but I think he wants to be financially rewarded as being the best player in the league. Whether we do that or not, and the repercussions that could have on the wage structure of the club, I don't know. But the one thing I think that may go for us is what's happened to Coutinho and what's currently happening to Wijnaldum at PSG, that they're getting absolute dog's abuse. It hasn't gone well for them. I think the grass is greener. I have no issue with Gini leaving. Like, the players make the decisions, football players move on, but like Gini might turn it around, but Barca's been a fucking disaster for Coutinho. PSG, he's getting dog's abuse at the minute from the fans, Gini, and like, let's make no bones about it, there'll be a statue getting built for Salah regardless. But if he stays, they might build 2 of them. Klopp can tell him, we build you fucking one at each end of the ground if you stay, because
I'd name a stand after him. I'd change the name of the cop to the Salah end. Right?
So I just think that might work in our favour, maybe how bad things have gone for big players that want to live. That's all I'll finish off with that.
Yeah.
The King Mo stand, I think that's a great pub as well in Liverpool, the King Mo. Andy, I think anyone who hasn't seen it, this is where sometimes Twitter is good, sometimes social media is good. But Andrew Beasley, Base Tune to Red, has a fantastic thread today, right? I just want to go through because it's worth going through in case you're gonna be a show of lazy bollocks and not going to look it up, right? So it's 100 goals, it's 100 Premier League goals, 58 goals at home, 42 away. Only 14 penalties out of those 100 goals, 10 from counter attacks. You'd think there would have been a lot more. 4 off corners, 3 from other set pieces. There were other 69 goals he scored were just from random bits of stuff that was going on. There's a really great stat coming up around that as well. 16 in the 6-yard box, 78 in the rest of the penalty area, and only 6 from outside the box. Now I don't know, but for me the stereotypical Mo Salah goal has been just outside the edge of the left-hand side of the 18-yard box, curling it into the far top corner.
The one against Roma.
The one against Chelsea.
Alisson.
The one against Alisson. The one he scored a couple of times. He scored 82 with the left foot, 12 with the right foot, and 6 headers. The headers are pretty impressive. Yeah. So we've done the numbers. Score against 26 different Premier League teams. Now, this is the maddest thing, right? 36 of his goals has no official assist. Right? And I was trying to figure out that means.
So has he won the ball back
off defenders?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
that's outrageous.
He's a nuisance.
Think about that. Of all the stats, you can go through all the stuff, right? And you can look at when he scores goals and everything that. But go to that one. That one alone, 36 of his goals has no assist. Yeah. So he battled his bollocks off to win the ball and then score a goal. That's mad. It's just pure mad. He's
only missing when he's gone.
That's mad. And look at all the things he does defensively, his pressing, his chances that he creates himself, his leadership. I mean, it's unbelievable. Actually, on the leadership thing, is there now 6 players that Klopp considers?
New couple in today, I think.
Yeah, there's something today about new ones coming in, yeah.
Yeah, but Salah's not one of them, is he?
I'm not sure.
He has been now for a while. Has he not? Virgil, Salah, it was Wijnaldum. I'm surprised.
Chris Bracken now in the comments anyway. Definitely.
Yeah, Bracky will say it any minute. I'd be surprised if he's not, Andy, to be honest. I mean,
but listen, talking of his goals, listen, I love them all, and he's got some important goals and some screamers with his left foot. But that goal in Salzburg with his right foot when he's out nearly on the sideline on his bad foot in the Champions League in the group game on his bad foot, I think that's his best goal. I think it's technique, fucking right foot flicking it by the keeper, and then at that angle on his right foot to squeeze it in, absolutely fucking frightening, unbelievable.
So he's not in it.
The Chelsea goal for me was so good. Obviously it was a great goal, but the shot you had to put up with from the Chelsea fans and all the commentary during the week, and to see how much it meant to him, and I was at the game, unbelievable.
You mentioned humility earlier on, Andy, and for me, you're absolutely, that's his best trait. How easy would it be for anybody else to rub it in so many faces, to go to the press and say, I told you I was going to do this, but just silence and a prayer. The man is just a credit to his faith, his race, his people, his family, this club. Well, I can understand why his agent goes off the deep end from time to time, to be quite honest with you, because it's funny in this life. If you don't take something, it very often won't be given to you. There's Harry Kane or whoever else jumping up and down looking for it. This is a guy, Salah, in my opinion, who's even struggles for widespread recognition, which is the most bizarre thing ever. Bizarre. The only criticism you can say is perhaps he does humility to the absolute nth degree, where it's almost like, yeah, we know what you do, and you're so quiet about it. Sometimes you need to be in people's faces, letting them know, but it's never going to be, it's never going to be.
A truly great player has truly great moments. Champions League final, right? He has the everything that happened in the Champions League final the year beforehand with Sergio Ramos. He comes back the next year. What's he do? He scores the opener inside 2 minutes. All right, that's it. And then the goal that wins us the league. And I love the fact that the goal that wins us the league is the one that people will always remember by. And it wasn't even the goal that won us the league. The 92nd minute winner against it. Well, it wasn't even a winner. The 92nd minute goal against United in January in that game. That league is over that day. I know points wise it wasn't, but from mentality and everything through the rest of the league, that league was over that day. Right? That was the game that maybe they might drop points and maybe that will allow City to get back in the race. Right? That goal is the end of it. And who scores it? It's him again. And that goal was typical of the goal that opens his account. The winner he scored. Do you remember the goal against Arsenal? in Anfield. In his very first match in Anfield. And it was almost another trademark goal where he pinged over the top. Every now and then he gets free and he runs in and scores an absolute humdinger. For me, look, he's a joy. We should celebrate him.
There's Chris Brack there. I forgot to even say, like, you know, he's after entering into the top 10 goal scorers Liverpool of all time.
Yeah,
like this club is going 130 years or something like that. And Mo Salah, who's like, let's actually make light of the fact that he's not even a striker. Like, he is a winger, and I've seen this debate going on Twitter there yesterday. They were talking about, oh, well, he's an inverted winger, he's a this, that, puff whatever fucking label you want on it. Before we were even born, teams are playing inside lefts and outside rights, and fucking and wingers were coming inside onto their good foot. This isn't brand new. Wingers were attackers years ago as well. And Mo Salah is able to do the job defensively, right? A hard working team, and pick up for Trent or a midfielder, and then manage to get into positions to create goals and score goals. He's a winger. He's doing absolutely everything on that pitch, and he's in the top 10 goal scorers of all time for Liverpool, the most decorated club in England. And he's top 10.
Listen, 4-3-3 is probably one of the go-to formations, I imagine, in European football probably the last 3 or 4 years. So there's been an awful lot of players that have played in the wide roles either side of the forwards, and there's no one, I don't think, nobody comes to mind that's coming anywhere near them for goals wise, you know what I mean, as regards say Neymar playing on the left, or Mbappe playing on the right, or, you know, Dybala on the right, a Juve or whatever, right at the front three. I don't think there's anyone getting near the fucking number Salah's posting. So
no.
You can say what you fucking like. You can call, like, I don't care if you call him an inverted winger or whatever like that. He plays in the
call him what you want, yeah. Call him what you want.
Goals.
Call him Mr. Raider.
Call him Mr. Wrong.
He's a legend, and long may he. I hope he signs a new contract. I will say,
big time.
Going back to the point that was made later on, his physique and his style of play will allow him to play well into his 30s. Right? While he is incredibly fast and lightning quick, it's not just about his pace, it's about the speed of thought and his ability to win back the ball. And that's why I bring up the 36 unassisted goals. That wasn't like a true ball that he's getting onto the end and he's chipping over. He's making that stuff happen. And his close touch and his close control in the penalty box is second to none. I haven't seen anything better in a long time. Like, that's how he gets so many of those goals.
The only question will be desire. How long will he have the desire, Phil? You know? That's the last thing to go.
He loves football. And he's got the hairier chest than Ryan Giggs now at this stage, and that means he's going to play till he's well into his 40s. That's what it is.
God.
That is the 4 topics for tonight. But before I go, Andy, I just want to ask you about that newspaper report today about pennies. And for English people watching the game, don't worry about it. Do no stock. But it's Primark in England and around the rest of Europe. But they've announced that they're going to become posh, and they're bringing out a posh range of clothing for Europe and Ireland. What's you taking it? Because you have an issue with notions. What's
I don't have an issue with notions.
I know, but come on.
Yeah, no, it's a great move by Pennies. You know, Irish company. Well, are they Irish? They seem to be Irish. They started
Pennies was it started in Mary Street with Bill Cullen and the apples.
It's mad, like, because they have whatever they're doing, they have it nailed. Like, you don't shop online on Pennies. It's like 80s shops. They still manage to have people queuing day and night. What is that noise, Phil? Turn off your mic.
Is it me? No.
It's Davo. Have you got your mobile beside your mic or something?
No, phone was here.
Yeah.
Andy has missed their notions.
Yeah. No, fair play to them, Phil. I don't know why you thought I don't have any Pennies clothes, but fair play to them.
No, it's great if you've got kids, and we've got a few. It's great to go down and buy multiple sets of things, that, because as Phil will tell you now, you're forever throwing things away because, you know, somebody had an accident on the way to somewhere else. So it's great to be able to buy 5 and 6 sets of leggings for next to nothing. That facility disappears, and I'm just glad the kids are bigger now. It's all online now with the Chinese stores, so they're probably losing their market.
Are we looking for a new sponsor or something?
Posh Pennies to sponsor the forum will be a great one. We could model their clothes on a weekly basis. Look at Pete there; he can wear the Posh Pennies orange jerseys. I want to, if Posh Pennies want to get on the sponsors, I wanted one of their classic Italian 90 pair of Bermuda shorts, which was fluorescent yellow, fluorescent green, fluorescent pink, and a blue.
Remember those days?
Remember those days? Fluorescent colours at that stage. On each of it, and then lastly, I want one of those Give It a Last Jack jumpers where it was Jack Charlton kicking the ball up into the air. Dan, that was it. 1990. I think I might have one. Pennies are Primark UK outfit. Now, Barry, see, you're gonna have your balls handed to you on the play here. Pennies were a clothing store that originated in Merry Street. They may be part of the Primark brand now, but they were originally
Bill Cullen sold, didn't he? Sold the real estate.
So Primark is just what it's called. They couldn't call it when they went to the States because of JC Penney's. Anyway, stick that up your arse. Anyway, right now, where are we? That has been the forum. I've been your host, Phil Casey. Below me is Shane Davo with the dodgy mic. That was mine. He kept muting me for ages there. Beside him is, of course, our own rude Gullet or Hullet. Next week, he's going to be dressing up as somebody else. As we get closer to Halloween, and then we're going to do a poll to see which outfit you'd like Pete to wear on Halloween. Pete's favourite will be to dress up as Lenny Kravitz and come on here and do that. I know that's his own personal favourite, but anything.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Something. Them stockings up to here. Definitely.
And then in competition to that, Andy wants to get on the dress you up game. So next week you want to see Andy dress up as Brian Mean, go and look that one up. He'd be happy to do so. Right, that's been the forum.
Sorry, Phil. I owe you an apology there.
That's all right. We'll wait till Raw Fair. We can have a proper.
Nearly going mad because I never apologised to him ever.
I think me Mike was the baby month. I feel so. That's a tip for you now in the next few weeks. Don't bring the baby month on here, Mike.
Same frequency as Marant's professional microphone.
The other thing is
and
don't bring the baby near the microphone either.
Yeah, exactly.
You get more sense out of that. Right, that's been the format. What's coming up this week on the shows? Will I just make something up, or will Gav get annoyed?
Champions League tomorrow, boys. Who's in? Shawnee Grizz.
Oh, the lads were asking about the Champions. Who do we think is playing tomorrow night? I think a lot of Liverpool players are playing tomorrow night, so that's
hopefully
that's probably a giveaway. And they're playing Porto.
I know Trent isn't playing.
Yeah,
and
I know Naby Keita's not playing.
And
Keita travelled, didn't he? Yeah, you're probably right. He's not playing, but
he got injured at
hopefully the grass is nice and soft over in Porto.
He got injured going up the steps onto the plane.
He got injured taking his bag off the luggage carousel. He got his finger trapped in the rollers and he was dragged around. That's because it only happened to him. Right, pre and post
show tomorrow.
Chris back says, and then we probably have the midweek fix. I'm starting to get to know these things. Thursday night we have something. There's a new women's show out this week as well. Chris Brack is saying this is great. This is like
brilliant
teleprompter.
Chris.
Then Friday we have Avi's sports show, which I'm going to be on that this week. I think next week, and then
talking about gridiron. Yes,
probably talking about. Yeah, I need to calm down about the Bears. Anyone knows me? I'm a big Bears fan. I'm really pissed off today. But that's it. So and then Saturday and Sunday there'll be is the United match this weekend.
Wow, City next Tuesday.
City on Sunday.
City match. So there'll be a I'm sure there'll be a pre-match thing, and then the Fatback Fours will be back on Sunday to review. So that's been the thing. That's been the forum. I've been your host, Phil Casey. Good night, God bless. See you next week.
Bye.